Welcome to Excel Magic Trick number 575. Hey, if you want to download this workbook and follow along, click on my YouTube channel, then click on my college website link, and you can download the workbook Excel Magic Trick 575 to 578. Hey, in this video here, we want to do something we have done in other videos, but do it together. I want to count with 3 criteria. Here's the 3 criteria. And I want to count how many records there are that meet that criteria. And then we want to add conditional formatting with 3 criteria. So only when the record meets all 3 criteria do we want it conditionally formatted. Now I'm going to count 2 ways. If you have 2007, you definitely want to use count ifs. They are the fastest calculating amongst all of the options. Now, 1, 2, 3. So we have the criteria range. Click there, Control Shift down arrow F4 just to jump it back up there. Comma and the criteria right there, criteria 1. I love the way these screen tips work compared to, say, some ifs in earlier versions, or count if they actually say criteria 1, criteria 2, etc. The second range, Control Shift down arrow F4, comma, get this one for the criteria, comma, click Control Shift down arrow F4, and now comma, since we have a 200 here and we're going to need this 200 in the conditional formatting, and I'm not going to put greater than here. I'm actually going to code it right in here. So the criteria would be in quotes, greater than, in double quote, in ampersand, Shift 7 to join those two things together. So there's the criteria. There's only 1. If I hit F9 now, there's 3. Now in earlier versions, you don't have count if, so you do sum product. And we're going to have 3 arrays that are going to be filled with trues and falses, and we need to convert the trues and falses to 1s and 0s. So we use double negative. Always converts true to 1 and 0 to false to 0. Click there, Control Shift down arrow F4. Equals. So in count ifs, you type a comma and do the criteria. Here you say, is that equal to this? Close parenthesis, that's the first array, comma, double negative, open parentheses. Control Shift down arrow F4. Again, you don't need the F4. I'm just jumping it back there. And again, you say equals. And it's going to create some trues and falses, comma, double negative, open parentheses. Control Shift down arrow F4. Now here, we just need to put our comparative operator, just like the comparative operator was equal, equal. We just say greater than, and then click right there. Close parentheses, close parentheses. The sum product will take the 1s and 0s, 1s and 0s, 1s and 0s, and multiply. And only when you get a 1, 1, 1 will sum product multiply together, get a 1 for that particular record. All right, so we have 3. Now, the trick here is we're going to have to use an AND criteria. So 1, 2, 3. But this cell, in order, conditional formatting, specifically has to have a true-false test for each cell. So this cell here needs to say, is this whatever in this cell equal to that? It also needs to say, hey, is this one equal to that? And it also needs to say, hey, is this one greater than or equal to that? So we're going to have to use AND. I'm going to highlight. In fact, I'm going to do this over here because it's easier if I build this true-false formula right here. Easier to see than the dialog box. And then we'll build it here because it's easier to see on the video, and then we'll paste it into the conditional formatting. Equals AND. The first logical test is this. And guess what? When the formula copies over this direction in memory, it's going to have to be locked. Right-click Insert, clear formatting. Right-click Insert. That way I can copy over and show you how it's working in memory. Equals AND. I'm going to have to say, hey, that cell right there, but when it's going to be copied over in memory, just like that. So I'm going to have to lock it with the column using the F4 key 3 times. Is that one equal to this one right here? That needs to be locked in all directions. Comma, then I need to say logical test 2. Remember, this formula is going to be stored in memory as if it's in this cell, but it still has to look there. Column reference locked. Is that equal to that criteria right there, locked in all directions, F4. Finally, comma, that one right there. And that one needs to be locked also on the column when that's equal to This one right here, locked in all directions. F4. Close parentheses. Control Enter. In memory, it's going to do this. It's going to copy over and then all the way down. Only when you see, oh, I thought that was a bigger data set. So nothing there, F9. Maybe I made the formula wrong. Let's go check here. That's looking, it's still looking at the right ones. F9, F9, F9. See, it's getting a count of 4 here, so I did something wrong on this formula. When I copy it here, it's still looking, and when it copies down, it's moving, so it's working correctly. Oh, that's why. I forgot this one. So we need to have a greater than there. So that was a little process of how to figure out where your error is, right? So now really I should come up here. That also is very helpful when to build your formula here instead of in the dialog box we're going to put it. I'm going to say greater than, copy it over, and then double click and send it down. So now we get some trues. Eva Carlota greater than 200, F9. All right, now I'm going to copy this. With the I-beam, click and drag, Control C, escape, and then I'm going to highlight. The active cell is right there, and very important for conditional formula formatting. So that's why we took that formula, because in memory it's gonna we're gonna paste it into memory, but it will copy it over and down. Alt-O-D opens conditional formatting. Alt-O-D, new rule, formula. I'm going to click there, Control-V, and then format it. Whatever format you want. The great thing about 2007 is they added the number. So I'm going to click OK, click OK, click OK. And so now we can see we get our, and if we hit our F9, we can see that it's changing. If I change this to Mike, right, so I can see F9, there's a bunch of Mikes. All right, so that's counting with 3 criteria and also doing conditional formatting. All right, we'll see you next